Welcome back everybody to the RC Guru YouTube channel. Today we got a little friend. My good friend John Holmes stopped in the form of a new V3 1800 kV revolver. As he calls it, the Haas. I might call it Vader. We'll see. We're going to cut the tape, open it up, see what's inside. Oh, I don't have a special opening. No, it's a box, whatever. Oh, what a beautiful little thing. We just got a little piece of styrene in there. Alright, there we go. All cleaned out. Look at that. .14 pole, 10 slot, I guess you'd call it, 1800 kV, the longest variant. Beautiful. 3mm bullets included on all of them. I wanted my ends nice and short because my build's nice and short. You can see the build back here, right there. So excellent, right on. So we got our Holmes Hobbies actual revolver. Now this is set up right now. I haven't done a show and tell on this yet, so it's still kind of in the build process, but I've been building it in the background. Remember those F9 axles we did a few things to? Well, now they got a behind the axle bracket and a lot more. See that G10 black G-Speed frame? Anyway, it's not a show and tell. It's a Holmes Hobbies kind of day. I wonder if there's... Oh, there's two. You know, it's a good day when they include two of these hard to get stickers. Even harder now that I'm all the way up in Canada. Usually, you'll see on most of my rigs, it's either right on the front, right on the back. These ones I'm going to keep for a little while. I'm going to keep them just kind of, just around. Just like that. That's excellent. That's that. Okay, that's that little cover. So, after you get your motor, if you don't already have your RC set up for an Am32 type setup, then this motor, if you're running a revolver on a Castle motor, that's fine. You got what's called the Castle Wine, but pull the seat up. But if not, you have what I have here. When you have an Am32 based system, and what do I mean by that? Well, it's just basically a PCB, like a computer chipboard, and it has a motor controller on it. They are used for drones. I'm unplugging my lights because there's a full light package on this. Turn signals, red and orange. Set that back by that nice blue powder coated axial frame. So, this is Am32. This is just a NiMod 80 amp. I got it because it's an 80 amp. And the board and the architecture of the ECU is the same across everywhere. It's pretty much, more or less. They come in varying sizes, you know, smaller amperage, but I get the 80 because I don't want to be looking for it. I want to be looking at it. So you can see right now on this crawler, it has a NiMod, and I guess this is a NiMod ESC too. They're paired up. This is a 3542, which is the same size basically as the Holmes motor. The Holmes motor is just built far better quality, and plus a little secret with this motor, it whistles. I think these are like on the end, when it gets going at high speed, it actually whistles at a certain RPM. So I have other Holmes Hobbies motors, they don't whistle. The whistling drives me nuts. Like when you're driving across someplace and it's whistling, it's not good like whistling diesel. It's quite annoying. Anyway, so we're going to pull this motor out. and it's going to be super easy because the way these come up, the way these come set up, I have this one shortened, and the bullets are standardized for what I use. I believe they're 2mm bullets or 3mm bullets. I can't really remember, but as you can see, they just plug straight in. So the swapping of the motor is going to be super easy. We're going from 2250 kV to 1800 kV. Now, with that drop, I think I'm going to leave the pinion the same size because this motor is so much stronger than this motor. And if you do the math, you do your your battery, however many cells you're running, like 2S or 3S. If you're running 2S, you take your kilovolt number. So if it's, say this number is 2000 and you have a 2S battery, well then you have 4000 RPM basically coming out of this. Do you understand? It's the PEI formula. But anyway, with this guy, he's got so much more grunt, and I can tell just by rotating this one. It's so much smoother. That other one's like not knocking these motors because they get the job done. It's been doing, an okay job. It doesn't have great low speed to a point, but that's because it's geared with a 14-tooth pinion. And it's just geared like that because it's the only machine pinion I have for the machine spur, because it's got a full bomb-proof super safety. This is a hot racing hardened steel 56-tooth 32 pitch. What is it? Mod 0.8. They're all Mod 0.8 gears, and they're all hardened gears. And they're all hardened gears on the inside of this with a little bit higher ratio. It is a Vanquish. It's a Vanquish Products case. It has a Vanquish Products Hertz Dig V2 on the back, and that's controlled by my little fella here, my Reefs RC. Love my brand Reefs. Love the guys over there. It's a 99 micro, and that controls. I have a 3-position switch on the radio, and I can have my rear wheels lock up completely, so I only have front wheel drive and these are locked, or I can have them free spin so that if I need to shoot my front end over but I can't have it locked because there's boulders everywhere and I just want to try and climb and not push, then you leave it in free coast mode. It's got 1, 2, 3 positions. So 4-wheel drive, dig, lockout, and dig freewheel. And freewheel works like 2-wheel drive, front wheel drive, get you out of a lot of places that normally you couldn't get out of. So I'm going to pull the motor out of this, and then I'm going to get back with you. How's that sound? Hey guys, when I had the motors out, I wanted to show you a size comparison, if I can talk correctly, as they're essentially the same motor on paper. They're both a 3542, but as you can see, the cheaper one is a lot bigger. You can tell by the color of the copper. This would be a number 3 copper, and this would be a number 1 rated copper. And when I say a number 1 rated copper, it's the most valuable. You get the most for it at a scrap, and it also has the best properties of copper. So this has subpar materials. You see the clip there, the smaller bearing. This has Japanese bearings, and this one, shafts are going to be standard size. See this bell end's open. You can see how beautiful that motor is on the outside, and there's the flute. I mean, I've had there's a blue flute in a day, but like that's what it starts to whistle. You see what I mean? Looks like a duck call or something on the top. Anyway, that's what I wanted to show you before this goes in there. Would you look at that?
The Vanquish product is black. It looks purple in a certain light. You can tell these are OG F10s. They still have the red oil cap, they call it. Now this ESC has been programmed for this motor. Now, what do I mean when I say that? I mean I programmed the KV and the sign startup force, and I limited it a little bit. So now I'm going to get the computer and I'm going to show you guys how to hook your Crawlmaster V3, your Am32, your NiMod, your Rhino. There's several different connectors if they're running Am32 BL Heli or Escape 32. I don't think Escape one of them is not a thing anymore, but Am32 definitely is. Anyway, so I'll get my little adapter, and you need a laptop with Windows. I don't know if they have it for Apple because I don't have an Apple computer. Wish it did though. Anyway, I'll grab that and we'll. So I was going to grab parts. This is just your connector for the Am32, and I was like, why don't we try it before we change anything? Because sometimes you don't need to change anything, and you find out after you run it a few times that either your ESC is getting super hot, or like the transition between the sine wave isn't enough, or something. So let's try it as it is. So you might hear the dog barking. She loves these noises. Okay. So that means it's connected. I have it set up through custom firmware that I'm working on. It doesn't do the activation beeps. It does one activation beep that's working. You can see that. So the old motor started to chug at 23, I think it was, when you go forward on my controller. There you go already. This motor started to move at 16. And it's moving fine at 17. So that shows you right there. There's the difference between startup force. That took 21 in the preload, and this took 16 and it started moving. And you can put your revolver box right there, and because it's in sine mode, see it automatically adjusting. It's adjusting the amperage curve to keep the motor going the same speed. Now let's watch it do the downhill. This is with no tuning now, mind you, on the computer. And then we're going to tune it on the computer. Oh, I don't know if we need to tune it on the computer. Look at that, it even holds on the box. Okay, so the next thing I want to test is does it whistle? So, we'll have a listen test. So that's at a sine mode. That's like you're driving down the trail. And right about here, that's when that motor would start whistling, like an actual whistle. So let's go full throttle. That's how they're supposed to sound. That's how all Holmes motors sound. That's fantastic. That's exactly what I expected. So see that little bit of choppiness? I think that'll be taken out when we do the software, when we get into the computer. So I'll grab the computer and be right back. Alright guys, we got our computer, we got our dongle. Now this dongle is USB-C. You need to make sure that you have a USB-C data cable. I have this nice little convenient short one, so that's just what I use. It's got a nice little thingamabob on it. Anyway, you see that has 3 prongs on it? There you go. So everything's gonna be on, okay? The ESC is like a computer. It needs to be powered up to work. You'll notice on my computer, I have multi-ESC config tool started up. Now, we're going to plug this into one of the compatible ports on the computer. It's going to go into a super speed port or a USB type C. And you see it turned red. We'll push the controller just aside for now.
So the computer's saying, what's that thing plugged in here? And we're gonna give it an answer. So you want to take you want to take it right into your number 2 channel, the one that comes out the speed control. You want to stretch that out. You hear it beeping. I'm going to shut this off. I'm going to turn the transmitter off, and I'm going to plug this in and turn this back on. Now it says signal one side and ground the other, so mind the colors. Ground is always black, signal is usually white. So now I'll turn this on. And we'll go direct connect to COM 6. And we'll hit connect. We'll read the motor, because it says M1. You click on the M1, and then this screen pops up. Okay? And this gives you all your options right here. So, what are we going to change? Well, first of all, our motor's in 1800. So we go to motor KV, click on the slider, and then you can just use your up and down arrow keys and go to 1800, or as close as you can get to 1800. If you can't get 1800, go to 1780, because it's a Holmes motor, and it, you know what I mean? It's a beefed up. It's 14 poles, startup power. Usually leave it at 100%, always, unless you are running like weak batteries or whatever. You don't want to boost it over 100%, just leave it. The PWM frequencies at 24, just leave that. The beep volume's at 5. If you're not happy with the beep volume, remember how I said I had it custom for me? Anyway, you can turn your beep volume up and down. Stop brake level. It's going to be at 10. That means when you're coming down, you're holding on a rock, you want your brake hold to be on 100%, like brakes on 100%. And then the next one is sign startup range. It's at 15. And I think we're going to stretch it out. What's the maximum? 25. Okay, we'll go to 20 for the sign, because it's it's got a high tooth. It's around in 3S, not 4S. And sign mode power, I'm going to leave this at 8. You actually, I'm going to give it a 9, just because this motor was cogging just a little bit. And I think that might have been the KV, and it wasn't the KV. It could be the sign mode power, because sometimes it needs, like, less is more, you know what I mean? If your motor's getting really hot, you don't know what you, like I tried changing everything else, but the sign mode power, try it at a 6 and then run it. And then for your left hand, it says reverse rotation, don't click that. Complementary PWM, click that. Variable PWM, click that. Bi-direction, you want to be able to drive forward and backwards, click that. Stuck rotor protection, we're not flying a drone, we don't want that. We don't want that on, because we stop it all the time. It hits a rock, that would be like a stuck rotor type situation. So leave that unchecked. Brake stop on, so when we stop, the brakes are on, that's what we want. Stall protection, that's basically like your sign mode basically. And it also hand in hand, it goes with sinusoidal startup. So you want that checked as well. Telemetry, we don't have telemetry, and we don't have hall sensors. It's just a 3-pole motor. So, and then we're like, I'm running, my custom firmware is AT32 PB4510, and the revision is 2.17. If anybody wants to know. And connect to the motor, read OK, save settings. Then it says write EEPROM successful if everything you changed worked. Now you can quickly close the connection. Think of it, you're like always like a computer. So you close the connection down, and then you want to turn it off, and then unplug it. And this gave me no any other light other than a red, so assume red is good. Now take your ESC wire and plug it right back in. And I have it up on the stand here so we can try it right away. And now turn your controller on. The confirmation beep. And it's going to be a lot less because it's free coasting right now. It's up in the air. But let's see what number it takes now, because it was 16 before when it was on the table. So there's 13, 14, 15, see 16 is starting to wake up, 16, 17. See, making that choppy noise a little bit? I don't know. I think that's the power. No, actually, you know what that is? It's no resistance. It's metal gears. It's the little tiny, between your pinion and your spur, you want to leave a tic-tac, like that able to move. Anyway, that's what you're hearing. Okay, so that test went well. We'll just close this for now. I want to do a bench test here right away with you guys. Drop that right down, and we might as well use the exact same thing. And let's do the exact same variables. Let's go forward. See when it starts moving on the table. Now it's still moving at 17. It's clacking a little bit, but we'll put it to work here, see what happens. That's a 14 tooth pinion now, mind you. I think if we turn the sine mode power down a little bit. Okay, how's the sine range? I had it up to 20. Alright, get it off the cruise control here. Oh, and I also had that motor. I think I had an Expo on it. No, I didn't. Okay, good. Alright, so reverse. And the Holmes. So that's gearing chatter. That's what we're hearing. You won't hear that when it's crawling up anything. That's just when it's, because this is so light, you're hearing this. Everything just magnified. 100%, see? Oh, whole table clicking. But I can see it. Click, 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 click. So anyway, let's check wheel speed out. It's definitely a lot slower. It's a good thing we kept the 14 tooth. And the punch, let's see if this, they usually kick these right out of my hands when you do wide open throttle. Yeah. And the brake hold is pretty good. Oh, you gotta push pretty hard. It's easier because the front's overdriven, the rear's underdriven. More gearing. Oh. And it drives over everything just fine, doesn't it? Yeah, I was having a hard time yesterday when I was cruising around, just trying to get over the rock pile. See, it didn't have that yesterday. Boom. Okay, guys, that's how you do it. Am32, outrunner motors, revolver motors. Holmes calls them revolvers. They're outrunner style motor, but you can tell the difference between your entry level 9-mod motor and then your actual competition level motor. Now, this is the biggest revolver he has, and when I say biggest, I mean in length. This is generally the biggest revolver you can get for a 10 scale RC. Now you can get them down I have SS versions that are as long as my pinky nail. So they're actually smaller than the transmission. You know what I mean? But this one, it didn't have the oomph to get up the straight rocks because it's straight axle, and you can see it doesn't drag a whole lot, but we're doing a little bit of testing. These axles are pretty much new. The links were reused, but anyway, I'm calling it Project Midnight. Black motor, everything working well. And like and subscribe guys. If you watched this far, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I hope I answered some of your questions in maybe an AM32 based situation or not, because I was having a few issues myself. You do this, and then you run your trucks for like 4 or 5 months, and then you go and try and get in the computer again, and you can't remember if it was this one or that one, and then they got rid of one module or firmware, and it's not AM32 or BL Heli, and anyway, there's several different controllers you need to have, that they usually come with your respective ESCs. If you have those, you'll always use the multi-config tool. And if that doesn't work for you, you can go on AM32 if you know you have an AM32 based ESC. Thank you guys. I appreciate everybody for staying so long. Like and subscribe.